Hey, everybody. Darin Zoccali and Scott Shapiro with you. Thanks for joining us at Twin Spires as we make the road to the Kentucky Oaks as a stop this weekend in Hot Springs, Arkansas, heading down, of course, to Oaklawn Park for the Martha Washington Stakes. And Scott, this is a race that, of course, is rich in tradition, won by the great Rachel Alexandra, among others. A select field of fillies going postward to this weekend, but make no mistake about it, certainly an important stop on the road to the Oaks.
No doubt about it. Darin won last year by Will's Secret, a horse that played a major role in the Kentucky Oaks, finishing underneath, just getting up for third. Not sure if we have a major contender in here in the Martha Washington, but an interesting race nonetheless.
It is, and of course, 10 points to the winner. It's one of those point-scoring races on the road to the Kentucky Oaks. And don't forget, if you go to the Twin Spires YouTube channel, you can find all of those last race replays for all the contenders in this Martha Washington Stakes. So that's a free perk of being a subscriber to the Twin Spires YouTube channel. Let's take a look at this race. And of course, Scott, we have to start with, let's start with the pace scenario here. There's a filly down to the inside in the form of Hypersport that's awfully quick early. She tried to stretch out to a mile last time and it didn't quite work, but she did have some pace pressure there. I'm not sure she sees the same type of pace pressure in this particular spot.
No, I would agree with that. In her first start against Winners, first start against Two Turns, gone a mile on New Year's Eve. She had to battle throughout from the inside draw. It was a well-beaten fourth that day, but you could certainly make an excuse that she should move forward in this spot. As you mentioned, not quite the amount of contention likely to be up on the front end. I do think optionality will keep her honest, exiting that pretty impressive effort in the Trapeze at Remington Park in mid-December. But I think Hypersport should be on the lead in here with optionality sitting just second.
And you mentioned optionality. Of course, it looks like the road to the winner's circle could certainly go through the Steve Asmussen trained filly. She's a bit of an interesting filly because she comes into the winter heading towards the Kentucky Oaks. But you take a look at her race lines, races at Indiana Grand, Zia Park, Remington Park, not exactly the who's who of terms of upper echelon of racetracks that you would normally see a Steve Asmussen filly of this caliber in. So you have to wonder what they really thought of this filly going in, but make no mistake about it, she looks like she's the goods now.
No doubt about it. Going into the last race, the first try going a mile or further, she looked like a horse that I would be trying to beat. Like you mentioned, not managed like one of the upper echelon Steve Asmussen fillies racing in Indiana, taking 4 starts to break her maiden. You could make the case that she's figured things out and certainly make the case she's going to get the best trip in the race. But as the 9-5 favorite, a little hard to get overly excited about.
Another horse that began at Indiana Grand is the Brad Cox trainee, Cuomo Square. Now, of course, that's Brad's no stranger to starting some pretty good fillies at Indiana. Of course, Monomoy Girl is on that list, so we can't think too poorly of that. But she certainly looks good. She's unbeaten in 2 sprint stakes. She's going to try to stretch things out the first time.
Yeah, another one that hasn't been managed like an upper echelon horse for one of these big stables, certainly with the pedigree, which is a little bit surprising. A half to Caddo River, who ran second last year in the Arkansas Derby. We've seen him run back a couple of times in Arkansas at this winter meeting. I'm against this horse. Has gotten good setups going one turn in both of the starts. Got a real slow number in that maiden breaker last time out. Now stretches out to 2 turns, but I expect her, along with optionality, to take the most money in here. And I think they're both pretty vulnerable.
Well, you mentioned 2 vulnerable favorites, so the betting public watching is trying to read between the lines and figure out who Scott Shapiro likes in this race. And I think the way things are trending, all roads might lead to a horse by the name of Secret Oath for you.
Yeah, Secret Oath to me looks like by far the most talented filly in this field. Unless optionality has really figured things out and turned a corner, I could see her being better than maybe I expected earlier on. But Secret Oath was extremely impressive last time out there and in that allowance win. First time against winners, non-graded stakes winners, that is, in the Goldenrod. She was a little bit overwhelmed that day, but she relaxed much better in the New Year's Eve race that she won in the allowance event. Didn't get a great trip, did get a good setup, but had to wait along the inside there and absolutely exploded. My only concern with Secret Oath in this race, Darin, is will she regress off that big 95 Brisnet speed rating last time out? If she avoids major regression, I think she's going to beat this group.
Not only did she have a big Brisnet speed rating, but she's also got a big workout under her belt since that last race. So she's clearly still sharp with a bullet in 46-4. I think she is absolutely the horse to beat. And I could even make an argument that she should be favored. I'm going to try Hypersport here. Scott, I'm just going to take the approach that she had to go too quick under too much pressure last time out in a larger field against that allowance field that produced Secret Oath, who did work out a nice, well, not a nice trip, but certainly a good pace scenario for her to run into. If Hypersport breaks from the inside here, doesn't have 2 horses chasing her into the first turn like she did in that most recent try for Ingrid Mason, if she could relax a little bit better on the lead, if optionality doesn't necessarily run too hard at her too soon, I think Hypersport can definitely carry that speed a little bit further in this spot, and the price certainly is going to be much better this time around.
I think she's the best of the non-3 kind of logical options in here. Remains to be seen if she's a 2-turn horse and if she's at this level, but I do think she has some upside and understand the play.
Those are the selections. Scott likes the 6 Secret Oath. I'm going on the 1 Hyper Sport. Make sure to go to the Twin Spires YouTube channel and watch these replays. And of course, watch and wager with us at twinspires.com. We'll see you all season long on the road to the Kentucky Oaks.